everyone. My name is Anita and I'm extremely excited to welcome my today's guest, Professor Elizabeth Rose. Professor Rose, welcome to Inkpothub Media.
Oh, thank you, Anita.
Thank you so much for accepting my request. I'm very, very happy, and I'm more happy because I am seeing you in this gorgeous sari. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I decided today was a sorry day.
Wow. And congratulations on International Women's Day. We are going to celebrate this month to, recognize women in research, especially in management research. So I'm glad that you accepted my request and we are here today. Thank you so much once again.
Oh, my honor. Absolutely. And it's so good to see you again, Anita.
I remember we met in Chandigarh and in, I think, 2017 in America during the Academy of Management Conference. And then you came to Chandigarh and we went to the Sukhna Lake and we roamed around Chandigarh. And I remember all those days. Those were beautiful days, I must say. So
Yes.
now you are in IIM Udaipur. Okay, so that is kind of very exciting to see because here you are handling the research chair professorship position in business policy and strategy area. And my first question to you, Professor Rose, is that after working in so many countries, after working with so many institutes, and you name it and you have it kind of experience you have had, what made you to shift to India?
Yeah, I have had a long and not very linear career. Let's go with that. Look, as you know, I finally got to India about 10 years ago. And after meaning to get here for ages and ages, because I had so many friends from India during graduate school. And it became my happy place very, very quickly. So I had been coming to India generally twice a year since then, sometimes more often when I could manage it. And I really, really like India. I like the people. It really is my happy place. And I've had this sort of loose affiliation with IIM Udaipur for a very long time. And the more I thought about it, I kind of thought, when I think about sort of where I want to finish my career, I just always envisioned myself walking along the campus here at IIM Udaipur. I don't know why. Nothing's terribly rational in my life, I think. But it just seemed like the right thing to do. I like the way it was established. It was established with a sort of a vision and a strategy that made a lot of sense to me. It's very research oriented, and I'm a research nerd. That's what I like doing. And the thing is, it's been fascinating to watch this place develop for the past decade or more. Because they've really stuck to the strategy. They've stuck to the vision. They've stuck to the strategy. And it just seemed like I might be able to make a difference here. Mm-hmm. And so it all just sort of came together, and I was very fortunate that they were able to accommodate me here.
Okay. So I'm going to take a break because I have an announcement to make. I recently got to know that GIM, Goa Institute of Management, is rated among the top 4 B schools for the world in the Positive Impact Rating 2021. GIM endeavors to have a positive impact on society through its six programs, and one of the programs is Fellow Program in Management. This is for people who are ready to become future leaders and disruptors. GIM offers this FPM program in 12 different areas like accounting, big data analytics, economics, HRM, finance, healthcare management, information technology, marketing, operations, OB, public policy, and strategic management. I learned that the faculty base is very strong and they are offering a very good, attractive stipend. So if you think that you have a very strong research mindset and if you're ready to design your portfolio career, then hit the apply button with your SOP and 2 letter of recommendations. The application deadline is mentioned in the description box below. And if you need any help and mentoring, please write to me. My email ID is anita@inkpothub.com. I'm waiting for your emails, and now let's resume the video. Okay. Okay. So, Professor Rose, you have decades of teaching and research experience, and you've published more than 100 articles. You have gotten more than 3,000 citations. You are an AIB fellow, and you were named the WAIB Women of the Year in 2019. So, I'm sure this journey must have not been very easy. You must have had your sides of good parts and bad parts, and success and then sorrows and a peak of everything, and up and down. So
Yep.
I want to know from you about your journey from the University of Michigan to IIM Udaipur. If we can start from there.
Ooh, how long do we have?
Yes, we really were. I am actually very eager to learn from you about your journey.
Yeah, how I ended up places I never thought I would end up. Yeah, it's funny because, well, my PhD from the University of Michigan was actually in statistics. There was an applied statistics program in the business school. It actually started out in engineering and then shifted to statistics, which, because it turned out I was actually I was better at the statistics than at the engineering. And so I was fortunate that they were willing to let me enroll in the statistics program in the business school. So I got my PhD there. I did a Bayesian approach to time series forecasting.
Okay.
And for my PhD thesis, it was not a barn burner. I don't think anybody's ever read it, but it's okay. Yeah. And my first job was at University of Southern California. I was teaching in a statistics position and teaching a bit of operations management as well. And while I was there, I started working with a very close friend from Michigan who had done his PhD in international business. So I started we thought, gee, once we both finish, there must be something we can do together. So we started working in it, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And what's interesting is that at that point, University of Southern California, they wanted you to publish in your area. And so I wasn't publishing in those top journals in statistics, but we were hitting some very good journals in strategy and international business. Mm-hmm. And so that it became fairly obvious that wasn't going to be valued at Southern Cal. It's, this is one of these things. I've been at a lot of places, and so much of it is about fit, and things change over time. I'm at Southern Cal, I'm the one who changed, not the institution. And a disadvantage for individuals is that we are not going to change. Most of us are not going to change the institution. So that's partly why I shifted a lot. So I sort of looked around and kind of went, what do I want to do now? And the position came up at the University of Auckland in New Zealand that was in a department of international business for someone who could do research methods. And I thought, aha, that sounds like me. And fortunately, they agreed. And so they offered me the position. We really thought, I had never been to New Zealand. I'm not 100%. I can't honestly say I knew where it was. I'm American. I'm geographically challenged. So my husband and I shifted to New Zealand. We thought we'd stay for a couple of years. I'd rebrand as an international business and strategy person, and we'd go back to the US. And that was 1997. So it became permanent. So New Zealand is home now.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
you have dual citizenship, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. 2 passports. So shifted to another university in New Zealand, Victoria University of Wellington. Then I decided I needed a really international experience because by then New Zealand didn't feel so different to me. So I went to Aalto University in Finland. Mm-hmm. And that was definitely an international experience. I forgot about the whole not speaking the language thing. So I was a professor there for 4 years, which was really interesting. I learned a lot there about qualitative research. As you guess, most of my research is quantitative, but I developed a good appreciation for good qualitative work there. So that was really, really valuable. Then I went back to New Zealand because there was a position at the closest university to where we live. And so I took a chair there, and it just never really fit. Don't know why, still don't know why. Okay. So then there was a position, available at the University of Leeds in the UK. So I went back to a bad commute. So I spent about 4 years there, and then came to IIMU.
Wow.
Hopefully this is it. I'm tired of shifting.
So all these international shifts which you have made. So it's a philosophical question which I'm going to ask you now, which is like, have you reached where you have already wished to reach?
In terms of place, or in terms of whatever, research, or all of the above?
So I think it's a philosophical question, so you can answer in that direction, or whatever comes to your mind.
I think in terms of place, I've reached a really good place for me. And that's really nice. I'm very comfortable there. In terms of, am I satisfied with the work that I've done? No. I still there's a lot of stuff I still want to do. And one of the nice things about being here and talking to lots of colleagues is I've gotten lots of different ideas from talking to people about things that can be done. And so, yeah, I definitely haven't professionally reached, in terms of research, where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I have a feeling I probably never will.
Okay. So I have a follow-up question here, because now it's about International Women's Day. You are a celebrity researcher. I want to know, like, what kind of challenges you have experienced.
I'm probably not the best person to answer that question, just because I came up through engineering and did my undergrad in the 1970s. And so for me, management is quite gender balanced.
Okay.
I mean, I do think, I guess personally, I'm in a situation, I've got a partner, I've got my husband, we don't have kids. So I've never had to deal with any of that. I think most women in an academic environment, when you've got a family, it just makes life much more complicated. And the system doesn't really doesn't really account for that very well. Mm-hmm. Practically speaking, the woman ends up having a whole lot more responsibility at home, for most people. And the system, sort of maybe in the US, like if you have a child, they'll give you like an extra year on your tenure clock, and that's not going to do it. So I think that's a challenge, but I've been actually insulated from all of that. My husband it took a while for my husband to figure out what academia was, because it's kind of weird if you think about it. But once he did, he's just been incredibly supportive. So I think my experience is very atypical of what most women experience.
When you were shifting from one institute to another institute, or from one country to another country, so because of these rich experiences, if I don't want to ask you like bring up any challenge here and then tell us, but then I think you have traveled a lot, so you must have managed all those challenges. But I want to know from you, what would be your potential or possible suggestion to young women researchers, especially in India?
Okay, first of all, don't underestimate. Okay, here's the thing. India is an amazing, especially in international business and strategy, which is my field. India is a phenomenally interesting context. Mm-hmm. In part because it's such a big, important economy, in part because in its very recent history, when India has really opened up its borders to business. So, we can see things happening almost in real time, which you can't do very much in some places like the US or most of Europe. And I think young researchers in India, especially women who are probably a little more I think women are probably less willing to go out there and put themselves out there than men, just on average. Sorry, stats nerd, had to throw that in. But don't underestimate what you're bringing to the table. Don't underestimate the fact that someone who is from India, who understands the Indian context, can add a phenomenal amount to research with an internet, with a researcher, even someone from outside of India, especially, because you understand the context and we don't. It's a bit like I've always told my students that, look, you give me data that pertains to chemistry. Mm-hmm. I can build a model, but I have no idea if it makes any sense because I know nothing about chemistry. Similarly, I would not say that I understand enough about India to write about India without someone who does understand the context. Mm. And so I think that's, don't underestimate what you're bringing to the table in terms of potential collaboration. I think also don't be afraid to contact people. Some people, if you read a paper and say, and think, I really like that paper, it would be interesting to work with that person and to bring that research to an Indian, to add an Indian perspective. Don't hesitate to write to that person. Mm-hmm. First of all, you say, I just read your paper and I really liked it. Well, that kind of makes academics get really, we go all gooey, it's like, oh, wow, you read my paper. And, so a lot of people won't answer, but a lot of people will, especially when you're a junior academic, because we've all been there. Mm-hmm. So don't underestimate, young female researchers, especially in India, don't underestimate what you have.
I think that's a very interesting suggestion you have given, Professor Rose. Yeah. I have one more question. Which paper is very close to your heart and why? So you have written many papers. Ask one paper which is very close to you.
One paper. Only one? So unfortunately, the one that comes to mind, there's a recency effect, and that's a problem. I think there's a paper that I published with Kyuhiko Ito in Journal of International Business Studies, and it's pretty old now. And we looked at Japanese automobile manufacturers and how they competed with each other in terms of their foreign direct investment, which is establishing a legal entity in a different country. And I like that paper. I think the analytics are good. I think it's interesting. It just ticked a lot of boxes because the Japanese thing was fascinating for me. I worked in the auto industry. I spent a long time in Michigan, so I'm really interested in the auto industry. So I quite like that paper. Ironically, not too many other people like it, but it hasn't been cited much, but that's their loss, right?
Okay, so that's your favorite paper. All right. I will also read it. I've not read it yet, but I will definitely read it. Thank you for this session. Thank you. So I also want to have a rapid fire round with you. Are you ready?
I am.
Good. So what is your early morning ritual or practice?
Coffee. I need a cup of coffee in the morning.
Okay. Which car do you drive?
Actually, I don't drive.
Oh, I broke my heart.
I'm sorry, Anita. I was not looking forward to telling you that. No, actually, I had a brain injury about 20 years ago. And so I don't view motion and distance well. So I think we're all better off if I don't drive.
What's your latest purchase that helps you increase your productivity?
Wow. Probably this laptop, and that's 2 years ago. That's sad.
It's time to change.
Yeah, it probably is time to change.
Okay, which one is close to you, gardening or baking?
Baking. I love to bake.
Okay. So what's your favorite, gulab jamun or kulfi?
I'd have to say gulab jamun because the name. The name sort of means I'm allowed to eat it, right? My dad.
I was about to ask. How is your dad?
He is 94 years old and he's chugging right along.
Yeah, because I remember you told me that your father is very fond of gulab jamuns.
Yep. Yes, he decided that since our name is Rose, he's allowed to eat as many as he wants.
So I deliberately kept this question in the rapid fire. And what's your favorite quotation that keeps you motivated?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. There's a quote, and I don't have the exact quote, and it's usually attributed to Albert Einstein, but I don't think he actually said it. But it's essentially not everything that matters can be measured, and not everything that's measured that can be measured matters.
Wow.
And I like that because I think, in terms of research, we test on the stuff that's easy to measure, but that's not always the right stuff to be. It's not always what we should be looking at. So I like that one.
Wow. Wow, that's very interesting. Thank you so much, Professor Rose. It was lovely speaking with you.
It's great to see you all here. Thank you for watching our work. If you have not subscribed to Inkpothub Media, then please hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel and support research celebrations in India.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.